Welcome back again, everyone. Hope you're all having a great week. Recently, I had a buddy of mine looking into buying a drone, so he asked me for a recommendation between DJI's Mavic Pro 2 and the Mavic Air, and I immediately thought, why have I not done this video yet? So, if you haven't already guessed it by the title, here is the Mavic Pro 2 versus the Mavic Air. Also, disclosure, I don't personally have a Mavic Air, but I do have a Mavic Pro 2. B-roll. Now, the most noticeable difference between the two is obviously the size. The Pro 2 is already extremely compact compared to the bigger brother, the Phantom series drones. The Pro 2 is just under 2 pounds and the Air is just under 1 pound. That's 907 grams for the Pro 2 and 430 grams for the Air. In comparison, folded up, the Pro 2 is 214 by 91 by 84 and the Air is just 168 by 83 by 49, and those are in millimeters. In inches, the Pro 2 is 8.4 by 3.5 by 3.3 and the Air is 6.6 by 3.2 by 19. That makes both of these drones slightly longer than an iPhone 11 Pro folded up, which comes in at 5.67 inches. So yes, these drones are compact. The Air gets the dub in size. Now, the second most noticeable feature right off the bat is the camera. So the Pro 2 rocks a Hasselblad 1-inch 20 megapixel CMOS sensor, which now gives the Mavic lineup aperture control. And basically what this means is you can now adjust the aperture between f2.8 and f11, which ultimately allows much more flexibility with lighting conditions. So for video, the Pro 2 shoots in 4K at 24, 25, and 30 frames per second, 2.7K at 24, 25, 30, 48, 50, and 60 frames per second, and Full HD at 24, 25, 30, 48, 50, 60, and 120 frames per second. So for that super slow-mo, you have to shoot in Full HD, which is 1080. And what I believe the best feature of the Pro 2 is the ability to shoot in 10-bit D-Log at 100 megabits per second. 100. D-Log allows you to shoot in flat profile at a high bit rate, which allows you to retain more information for post-color grading. So keep in mind, you also need a fast micro SD card to shoot at these speeds and an editing program to grade in post. For still photos, the Pro 2 takes stills at 5472 pixels by 3648 pixels in JPEG and DNG. For those who do not know, DNG is the raw format, which is equivalent to D-Log. It allows the most flexibility with the photo in post-production. In terms of the Mavic Air, this bad boy is rocking a 1 2/3 inch 12 megapixel CMOS sensor on board. However, there's just one aperture at f2.8, so you won't have that same flexibility in conditions that have, say, a ton of light, unless you're using ND filters. But obviously ND filters is something you'll need to purchase separately. Video resolutions are the same with the addition of 720, along with all the same resolutions as the Pro 2. The Air also shoots at 720 at 24, 25, 30, 48, 50, 60, and 120 frames per second. For stills, the Mavic Air shoots in 2 aspect ratios, 4:3 at 4056 by 3040 and 16:9 at 4056 by 2280, also in JPEG and DNG. So the Pro 2 definitely takes the throne here when it comes to flexibility of aperture, overall still image, and the ability to shoot in 10-bit D-Log. So not much to say here, but something not as obviously noticeable is the battery. Tucked toward the back of the Pro 2, we have a 3850 milliamp hour 31-minute flight time intelligent battery. The Air, on the other hand, has only a 2375 milliamp hour 20-minute flight time intelligent battery. So in both cases, both of these drones will need additional batteries, but the Pro 2 definitely wins again for having a longer battery life. Now, a feature that's not so obvious is the sensing systems in both drones. Here, the Mavic Pro 2 has an omnidirectional object avoidance, which Basically, that means it'll detect obstacles and or objects when getting too close, and ultimately it'll stop the drone or move it out of the way on its own, omnidirectional. The Pro 2 has sensors in the front, the back, top, bottom, and both sides. Now, the Air also has obstacle avoidance, however, it only has forward, backward, and downward obstacle sensing. So this one is obviously a no-brainer. The Pro 2 takes the dub again, clearly. Now, one of the most important features, I believe, are drones' capabilities in terms of distance and altitude. That's distance and altitude. In basic terms, more distance and altitude equates to more options when it comes to getting the perfect shot or footage. The Pro 2 here has a max altitude of 3.7 miles and a max distance of 11.1 miles. The Air, on the other hand, has a max altitude of 3.1 miles and a max distance of 6.2 miles. Now, you're gonna have to take that with a grain of salt because we also need to take weather conditions and location into consideration and several other factors. Clearly, we won't get the max out of it on a cloudy day, or if you're flying in the city or in a forest. The numbers are exactly that. The maximum, which means everything needs to line up perfectly to achieve that. So that being said, I'm gonna have to give this one to the Pro 2 again for having a little over more than 5 miles over the air. So in most cases, the obvious choice with the most options and flexibility in most cases will be the Mavic Pro 2. I can say for certain that this is a biased decision though, because I myself do own one and I don't have a Mavic Air, but based off of the information, you can kind of see why I picked it. I did all the research for months and months and months before finally deciding which was the best option for me. It might not be the best option for you, but it was for me. The deciding factors, I believe, are going to fall in this order. The price: Mavic Pro 2 starts at $1,379 US, and the Air starts at $919 US. The battery life, which the Pro 2 outperforms the Air by 9 minutes, and the aperture options on the Pro 2, which the Air does not have. And lastly, the ability to shoot 10-bit D-Log on the Pro 2, which the Air does not have. Most of the other features are very minimal in difference, and I believe these that I'm talking about now are the biggest differences worth mentioning. So if size, portability, and convenience are what you're looking for, the Mavic Air is definitely a bit smaller and lighter for traveling, but not by much, so that may be the way to go for you. If you want the best quality between the two, Mavic Pro and the Air, the Mavic 2 has a higher megapixel count and D-Log. But that's just me. Anyway, let me know down in the comments if I missed something worth mentioning, or what it was that finally convinced you to get the Pro 2 or the Mavic Air, because the Mavic Air may be for you. It's not for all of us, but it may be for you. I'd love to hear all your thoughts. As always, thank you all for watching. Stay tuned for another video next week. Be sure you like and subscribe, and I will catch you later. Peace. The Pro 2 rocks a Hasselblad 1-inch 20 megapixel CMOS sensor, wow,